CS, many thanks for making time for us this evening.
Thank you, Maura.
Welcome to the program.
Asante sana.
Great. I want to immediately start with a reaction on the cheaper unga story. And of course, it's been a big talking point this evening. And help us understand this, CS. Why is it only 2 brands or 1 miller offering cheaper unga tonight?
Maura, I think it's very important for the country to understand where we have come from, where we are, and where we want to get to. And I think it's also critical for them to appreciate that, for everyone to appreciate that when indeed when the president made that announcement last week, there is progress towards reducing the cost of unga. And I want to ask the millers out there that they need really to lead by way of example. They need to learn from a good miller like the one doing Umi and Hanjab, because if you remember what I said some time back in this station, and what we've been saying out there, is that the government has all through been very committed towards the reduction of cost of unga in the country.
Okay.
And towards that end, the government has gone ahead in proposing to lose revenue by way of importing duty.
Okay.
And we have given permits of 1.4 million metric tons of maize, which is supposed now to be getting into the country, which will essentially be milled to give unga.
Okay.
So
I want to understand.
Now, let me tell you
one thing.
Listen, it's important. No, you have to listen. Because the Kenyans must really get this one correct.
Okay.
Anjabu is doing or is selling is unga at below 170 because he was one of the beneficiaries of the permits that we gave to millers to bring in maize. These other millers.
Who else were other beneficiaries?
Every other miller gave permits to millers. In fact, on Friday at 10 o'clock, I have called all of them, or anybody else who is a beneficiary of the permit, either for maize, for rice, or whatever commodity that we are bringing in for a discussion with them. Because whatever revenue that the government is going to lose by way of import duty must be reflected in the reduction of the price of that commodity in the market. So I think the Anjab's consignments have started coming in, and I think that is why he has moved very fast to bring down the cost of unga.
Yes.
So I am calling the other millers to get to know by when are they going to bring their consignments, or if they are not, then we need to know. So
there are over 50 plus millers in this country. Only one has brought its price down. Some would ask, does that one have an unfair advantage to the others? Is there anything?
We gave permits to all of them at the same time. Probably a miller may have his problems in raising the money required to import the maize, or raising the certain instruments for foreign trading that are required. So that is why I'm saying on Friday at 10 o'clock, I'll be sitting with them so that I understand what challenges they may have. But I must commend, right? I must commend this miller for bringing in his maize.
And you are not supporting them in a manner beyond other millers?
No, let me tell you, and the position of government has been this, that there is no maize that we buy as a Ministry of Agriculture. What we've done is to waive duty on imported maize and rice so that the public sector can invest in that venture and be able to bring those commodities within the Kenyan.
CS, help us understand the numbers. From what I hear from economists, the average cost of a 90-kilogram bag of maize in the country is somewhere around 5,750 Kenya shillings. Now, global maize prices, as you've told us before, are at an all-time high. To break even on any transaction, you need to sell your 2-kilogram packets, from what economists tell me, at not less than 185 shillings to break even. How is one miller able to profitably operate at the prices that we've seen today when others are saying they're not able to?
This is not rocket science. Those are economists telling you most of the economists most times are quite theoretical, and with a lot of respect. If they are telling you is 185,000 shillings that you require to break even, what they are not telling
shillings
you
per 2 kilogram bag.
Per 2 kilogram bag is what they are not telling you is that out of the 185 shillings that we need to sell a 2 kilogram bag, then there is an aspect of government duty in this particular 185 shillings. So government has waived its duty on the 2 kilogram bag, which ordinarily is around 30% or around 18, 20, no, sorry, I may not be very clear of the percentage. So even if you had to less, that 20% is another 36 shillings that you may be able to remove here, which would have kitten from duty, meaning that you will get 150. So you need to get your facts right. How I wish you would have, I would have known the question would be coming, because I would have properly prepared for this one. But I am telling you, no. You know, the mathematics and figures don't lie. But
what are your figures then, CS?
But what I am telling you is that if the economists are agreeable or are giving you a figure of 185 to break even.
Yes, per 2 kilograms.
And that is with duty. Then less than duty waiver that we have extended to the importers, then this maize flour or the figure of 166 or 165 by Hanjab are reasonable.
So what do you read into this? If government has done this and reduced duty, you said you spoke to everyone on Friday and they were in agreement?
No, I'm saying I'm calling them on Friday.
You're calling them?
Yes.
Okay.
And let me tell you, the other problem that we may have and why we also have to be very keen. Remember, there is an issue we've been trying to deal with. And I do not want to be held as captive by anyone. Because why? Remember, these millers are the same millers that were doing under the old regime, the maize, the unga subsidy program. Most of them have not been able to prove how they supplied their unga to, and yet they are claiming quite a lot of money.
Are you accusing them of
No. This is what I'm saying.
What's the link with today?
Our audits are going on. So if we give them permits to bring in maize so that they can mill and reduce the cost, you will never know. They will be saying now, how can we do this? And we've not been paying this kind of money. So anyone that is really interested in assisting this country that has the feeling and is patriotic enough must explore that avenue and bring in maize, meal and give cheap unga to the people. Any outstanding bill is a bill that I have inherited in the ministry, which we are trying to look at and see how they can be verified. And if the claims are payable, then we will request for exchequer funding to pay.
So when the president made the promise on Saturday, when the State House spokesperson goes on the official Twitter handle and says, from today onwards, expect these average rates, was it an expectation that it would happen across board? What was happening, CS, behind the scenes?
What I'm saying is, the president made that statement in very good faith, and I'm telling you, people need to appreciate that out of that pronouncement itself, today we have 2 brands in the market. Probably what I will be doing is even to ask this miller to further see how we can handle more allocation of the quota so that they can be able to support us. So until I have sat down with the millers to understand what the problems are and why they haven't brought in the maize for them to mill and reduce to the level of this other company, the best thing probably is to give them the benefit of a doubt and say either they're in the ICs or they have raised the necessary instruments to bring in the maize, and hopefully, they won't be able to do it. So the cost of unga has started coming down. I believe that in the next 1 week or so, as maize continues to come, then they'll effectively be able to bring down the cost of unga after they have milled.
I know I'm due for a break, but I got to ask this. How much maize has come in already? 1.4 million tons is what you said here in our studio about a month ago. Yes. How much of that is already in the country?
Right now, we have 164,000 metric tons.
And which companies were contracted to bring that maize in?
The companies that were contracted are many. It's not one, because we have around 28 millers that we give permits to. Yes. So if you want me to, I will name them on Friday.
You will name them on Friday?
I will name them on Friday. And I will give them notice. If you are carrying a permit and you want either to work a permit or you are not able to, then you need to tell us, because we need to prepare. And the reason, Mahaura, is this. Look, if there were, because the duty-free waiver extends up the 6th of August, I am very keen on protecting the interests of my farmers. We have a subsidy program that we are running. Farmers are planting. We have now started giving them the top-dressing fertilizer. I do not want this maize in the month of August or late July, because in the month of August, I will be harvesting. So it will affect the prices of my farmers. That is why I'm very concerned, and that's why I have to sit with them on Friday.
While all this is happening, a ship carrying 42,464 tons of maize from Ukraine docked into the country last month. Who is milling that maize? It was reported across media outlets.
Maura, let me tell you, my responsibility as the minister, or what we are doing as a ministry, is we give you permits to bring in maize and sell in the Kenyan market. What we need to do, what we only facilitate, is the duty waiver. So if you organize yourself in a way that you take your maize to a certain 1 miller or 2 miller, or into any other outlet in the country, we may not be able to really follow up. But what we want to do is, or the original idea was to flood the country with enough maize. And when we do, or rice, or whatever it is, of course, for those economists will tell you that the demand and supply forces won't be able to balance the prices in the market.
CS, you've been encouraging farmers who you claim are hoarding grains to sell them before the cheap grain arrives. Is that your message till tonight?
It is my message tonight, because as at today, this evening, I have not had any information contrary to our first belief that whoever applied for a permit to bring in maize or rice, right, will not meet this end of bargain. And why, and I repeat, why I'm calling the importers this Friday is so that to give them notice to understand that if they are late in the delivery of these commodities, then it will not be very good for them, because I'll finally end up cancelling the permits. Immediately, they have all the signs that my farmers will start harvesting the maize that we've been trying to support them to grow.
Yes, we've got a lot more to get through, fertilizer subsidy and so much more, and I'll come back to you on that. But for now, let's take a short